Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in. I've got a little bit of a cold today. My wife has got me sick, and it's gotten a little bit better as the day has moved on. So I'm going to go ahead and cut a video. I've been waiting to do something on this SNAP benefits crisis that's going on because on the surface is not really my wheelhouse, but there's some stuff that's going on that you should be aware of that does absolutely implicate the right to self-defense, and then, of course, you know, the Second Amendment of the Constitution of the United States. So that is definitely within our wheelhouse. And I wanted to bring this stuff to your attention and kind of really flesh it out a little bit so that there's something that's planted in your brain. I'm not trying to be a fearmonger or something like that. Just a healthy sense of paranoia might help you in this situation. And I would be remiss if I didn't say something. So I'm going to be covering this from the perspective of somebody who has been laid off before. Spent about 5 months in my 20s laid off, drawing unemployment while I was looking for a new job. And I had the option of getting government assistance for food and stuff like that. And I chose not to do it. I did not want to accept a dime more from the government that I could possibly get away with. And I chose to, in some instances, go without. I chose to pay my mortgage and my electric bill and stuff like that. And it was during hunting season, so I just killed my own food, right? I went out and got it myself. It wasn't all that difficult to fill my freezer. Look, I understand that not everybody is that capable of a person, and oftentimes folks that are on SNAP benefits are folks that are actually in need. Think elderly folks and stuff like that that may not be able to go out there and do that sort of stuff. However, I will definitively state, and the data is out there, that there's a whole lot of fraud, waste, and abuse when it comes to the system. This is not unique to the United States. This is a worldwide thing. So my perspective on SNAP benefits as a concept are that they are a thing that should absolutely exist. We should take care of our citizens as far as making sure they don't starve to death if they actually need it. If you're not willing to go out there and work and you're not actually disabled and you're not making ends meet, then you should not be getting those benefits. So I guess my perspective is all SNAP benefits, since they're already kind of not getting paid out, they should all be canceled and everybody should have to reapply under stricter guidelines because we are wasting a shit ton of money. Today's video is brought to you by the Modern Gun School. This is an accredited online university. Whether you're looking to learn a few things or trying to break into a career in the firearms industry, this place is set up to be streamlined and work for you so that you don't have to burn a large quantity of money to get an education in the firearms arts. And that gives you some latitude to pursue other educational pursuits like, I don't know, a business degree on top of your firearms education. So go check them out at Modern Gun School and tell them that I sent you. Let's get into today's video. If I see one more person with Gucci'd out nails or name brand sneakers or whatever the heck it is talking about how they're going to start looting and stealing stuff because they're not getting their EBT or whatever the hell it is, well, then there we are at the impetus of this video, because what we call that is an opportunist. And there are opportunists out there that are going to use this crisis, and, you know, never let a crisis go to waste, to do things to their fellow otherwise peaceable citizens that are, shall we say, ignoble. And I mean, to really put this in perspective, you guys have to understand there's like an entire subculture of folks that collude together to defraud you, the taxpayer. And a good example of this is my brother was a hiring manager at a securities company some years ago, actually. And to be able to maintain your benefits when you're on disability or unemployment or whatever, you have to submit proof that you applied to X number of jobs to be able to qualify for your unemployment benefits. I have been there, done that. Like I said, my brother told me that they were sending out application receipts and they would get like they posted their positions and they get like 1 or 2 people applying, maybe 5 or 10 people applying a week, something like that. And then all of a sudden, hundreds of applications. And what was happening was somebody found their portal and said, hey, you can apply here. They'll send you an application receipt that you applied. And these applications would be bare minimum, barely filled out, whatever required fields were required, no resumes attached or anything like that. They'd get that receipt and they'd take that and turn it into the government. And then, they'd pick some people and they'd call them for an interview, and not a single person would show up to an interview because they already got what they needed to be able to scam the government and you, the taxpayer. So I guess what I'm saying is anybody who thinks that there isn't any abuse is either stupid or they're lying to you. I think that's a long enough preface to the concept, right? So there's a couple different things that you really should concern yourself with when it comes to self-defense. There are very few places in the United States that you can legally use lethal force to defend property. Like basically, if you're not in Texas, forget about it, right? Know your local and state laws on self-defense. Some places you can do non-lethal, but then are you the aggressor or did you escalate it, et cetera? Problematic, okay? So just understand that there is like a difference between like somebody walking up and grabbing your cart and stealing it or looting a store or something like that and like somebody shoving a gun in your face, right? Like these are completely different things. So just know what you're doing, where you're doing it. Just having a concealed carry or living in a constitutional carry state is not good enough. You have to know that sort of stuff. The other thing I would say that if you shoot someone, whether it was self-defense or not, it is still illegal to shoot people everywhere in the United States. Self-defense is what we call an affirmative defense. It's a defense that is used to defeat an otherwise lawful challenge to your liberty. Like, hey, you shot a dude. You're going to jail. They're going to cuff you. You're going for a ride. Now, whether it was justified or not, that will come later. 9,999 times out of 10,000, you are going for a ride. Understand that. Understand your rights if you're doing something like that. So, again, there's a couple different levels that you should be aware of. If you're in a store and like some looting's going on, leave. Go somewhere. Go shop a different fucking store, right? It's not that hard, right? The second thing that I would say is do not shop at night when it's dark outside. Go in the middle of the day. Remember, a fight avoided is a fight won. There's behavior that you can use to not completely eliminate that kind of incidental problem from occurring to you. Remember the stupid doctrine? Don't go stupid places at stupid times of the day to do stupid things with stupid people, right? That applies to during this current crisis. Maybe don't go to the grocery store at 9 p.m. in an empty parking lot that's not well lit in a bad area, that sort of stuff, right? But there's some other stuff that stacks on top of that because, like, on one hand, you got the folks that are actually desperate, that are actually hungry, and you've got the people that are going to, again, use that situation to do stuff nefarious. We've seen the videos of people saying, you just need to let us rob you with the gaudy nails and the weave and all that sort of stuff. Like, we've seen those videos. But then it's like, okay, well, you got the folks that are just going to loot stores and stuff like that, maybe take stuff from folks inside the store, relocate. But then transitions from inside the store, which is got CCTV cameras and all that sort of stuff, to the parking lot that may or may not be monitored, may or not be policed, right? So is somebody approaching you as you're moving to your vehicle? So in order to not be a target there, you need to present a particular type of profile during a compromised situation. Like if you're doing it at night, don't. But then also like, hey, head on a swivel, paying attention to what's going around you, maybe not buying $500 worth of groceries at 9 p.m. in a bad area type stuff when you're a 90-pound female. Dudes, do the grocery shopping right now, okay? But it gets more insidious than that, because like there's a clear difference between the person that like will walk in and loot stuff and the person who's going to shove a gun or a knife in your face in the parking lot. And it's even more different than, like, you've seen the videos of the dudes with the long guns literally setting up checkpoints to rob vehicles as they move through their particular area. Really, really bad. And even more insidious than that, the people that are casing the parking lot saying, that one over there, again, scenario, because it's easy, 90-pound female, loading $500 worth of groceries into her vehicle, going to drive it home to her 3 kids, followers are home. Very bad. That situation, you got to get a little bit more advanced, okay? You have to be paying attention to the traffic around you. If it looks like you're being followed or something like that, make nonsensical turns on your way home. If you detect that there's something like that going on, call the cops, 911. If you've got a set of headlights behind you at 9 p.m. at night, how do you know that it's not a different set of headlights versus like, yeah, there's this broke ass like vehicle. It's got 2 missing hubcaps and it's got a bunch of rust spots and, you know, it's really loud or stuff like that. It's been following me for like 20 miles. Yeah, okay, maybe you got to do something about that. Again, I'm not trying to be a fearmonger. I'm just saying that these kind of things are already happening. And it's probably going to get worse because it sounds to me like SNAP, even though they said that they're going to fund it with some auxiliary funds, it won't even be fully funded, which means that the states are going to have to figure out how to allocate the money. It's going to take a couple weeks. So I highly suspect that it's probably going to get worse out there. So I'm just telling you, act accordingly. Pay attention to your surroundings. I'm willing to say, yeah, people should be able to buy meat and vegetables and like basic medications, over-the-counter medications and stuff like that. Using it for other things that are lifestyle-based versus like rice and beans and shit like that. Because right now in this country, for some people, there is incentive to lower their standard of living to a particular degree to be able to get assistance at a level that they can subsist on and do nothing versus go out and be a productive member of society. The government currently rewards that system. Drastic reforms are needed. Living off the government should not be a comfortable existence. And then if you got somebody who's like, I don't know, war veteran, something like that, is missing both their legs, yeah, maybe there's an enhancement on their account or something like that. So they can acquire a greater standard of living through assistance that, let's be real, they earned versus people that just freeloading out there. I don't know. What do you guys think? Am I completely off? I don't think I am. I think this is probably where most of you sit, but I'd like to hear from you in the comment section down below. Stay safe out there, folks.